Welcome back, guys. So, over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I did a Wheel of Time book tag video called The Accepted Test. It was a book tag created by Riddhima, a YouTuber I mentioned actually in my last video. I'm going to link to her channel in the description below. She's an amazing YouTuber. You should definitely check her out. But that book tag actually inspired me to create a book tag of my own. So that's what I'm going to do today. What I call the Way Back Wheel of Time book tag. And just because of who I am and how I think and talk about these books, this video is going to contain spoilers for the entire series. So if you have not finished the books, sorry, you should stop now. Finish the books, come back, watch the video, let me know your answers to the questions as well. So without further ado, then I'm just going to jump right in to the book tag. The first question on the book tag is, who is your favorite and least favorite couple in the Wheel of Time? And I don't think it's going to come as any surprise to anyone that my favorite couple is Nynaeve and Lan. Now, part of this is just my deep and eternal love for Nynaeve. I'm just predisposed to love anything that involves her. But I also just think they work as a couple. Like, I believe their romance, and the slow burn, oh my god, it's excruciating. But when they finally get together, it's so satisfying. It's not all on Nynaeve though. It's also Lan. I mean, damn, I've said it before and I will say it again. I am a lesbian, but Lan can get it. Like, when that man starts spouting poetry, it's WAP. You know, you need a mop and bucket. And like with Daniel Henney playing the part of Lan, women, seriously, all over the world, y'all better watch out. He's gonna start saying one of those lines and women all over the world are just gonna be pregnant. Like, damn. My least favorite couple, on the other hand, without question, is Moraine and Tom. And yes, I am fully aware that this is foreshadowed from way early on in the books, but I hate it. I do not see the chemistry between them, although I know some people do. I see interest between them, but not necessarily romantic interest, and I just don't see them getting to know each other, let alone fall in love with each other. But when they get together, she's all swooning all over him, calling him pet names, and it's just... Okay, look, I know she's literally been rescued from a tower by dashing heroes. She is fully just in rescue damsel in distress mode, and it doesn't suit her. So I guess it's actually not so much their romance that I don't like. I don't believe their romance, granted. I don't like it, but I really hate what it does to Moraine. I feel like it undermines her as a character, and I do not like it. The second question is, what is an unimportant or small detail from the books that you hope that they keep for the show? And I made a whole video about this with 5 small moments that I hope that they keep, so I guess I'll link that below. But there is one that didn't make the list because it was too small, but I love it. And that's Varen's owl. When Egwene goes to Varen's room and she sees this owl that she thinks like it's a model, or I don't know, she thinks it's stuffed or something, and then it turns its head and Varen's all, it keeps the mice away or something, whatever. I love it. It's such a practical way to solve this problem, and it feels so very Varen to me. It's much more so than a cat, which is probably way more common, especially because it's apparently canon that cats love women channelers. But whatever. I love cats and all, despite the vicious rumors that go around about me being anti-cat. I'm not. Cats are great. I love them. But an owl is just cooler. And Varen's owl is the coolest owl. And should we get to that season, I really want the owl in the show. And okay, the next question, question 3, is what is one of your favorite funny moments from the books? I also made a video talking about this, and yeah, I guess I will also link that one below. But there are so many funny moments that I didn't get to on that list, so I'll just go with the first one that comes to my mind right now. It's from when Lan and Nynaeve get together, and I wonder if this is coming to mind because of question 1, but I don't know. Anyway, whatever, it's a hilarious moment. She breaks her block, and then Lan rescues her, and she's all, yeah, we're getting married right now. I've waited long enough. And he tries to, push her back, hold her off, keeping to his whole I'm wedded to death nonsense. He tries to hold her off by reminding her that he is still bonded to Morel, and anything he does, heavily implied, sexy times, Morel is going to feel. And Nynaeve's response Nynaeve's response is to ask if there's any way to let Morel know that the sexy times she's about to feel are with Nynaeve. Think about this. Nynaeve hears this, and her thoughts are, well, we're having sex tonight no matter what, so, I don't know, can you text her? It just, it cracks me up. And it cracks Lan up, too, because, you know, whatever. I guess Lan and I have something in common. Plus, what was Nynaeve thinking that he was going to do? Like, send Morse code butt clenches or something? Spell out Nynaeve's name before they did it? I don't know, but it cracks me up that that was her concern, that it didn't even occur to her to maybe not have sex. I mean, she'd been not having sex all this time, so a little more not having sex would not have killed her, but didn't even occur to her. She was going to get hers tonight, no matter what, and I love it. I love it. Question number 4 is, what's a moment from the Wheel of Time that makes you cry? And well, wouldn't you know it, I made a video about this as well. It's almost as if these questions were written by me or something. Anyway, so obviously, as I said, I made a list of these before, but there was one that didn't make that list. And that is a scene from the prologue to, I think it's Towers of Midnight. It's a scene where a captain named, what's his name? Begins with an M. Malinarin or something like that. He's holding a position in the borderlands, and the position is likely to be overrun. And he tries to send his son away to send a message, but his son sends someone else away because that other child is the final son of a family or something. So, and this child wants to stay and fight alongside his father. And then they have this ceremony that names the son a man, and I turn into a blubbering wreck every single time. And story time. This book was the first audiobook that I bought online instead of borrowing it from a library on CD, which is what I had done before. I wanted to have it like immediately, as soon as possible. So I was listening to this book on the bus when this happened. And when I say I turned into a blubbering wreck every time, that's what happened to me on the bus. I was just there sobbing in public because of fictional people, and not fictional people I knew, fictional people I barely knew, like making their last stand and honoring a young boy who's fighting alongside his father, and it snuck up on me. There shouldn't be emotional gut punches in the prologue that early on in a book. I wasn't expecting it. Question 5 is, what is your favorite quote in the Wheel of Time? And this is a hard one because there are so many, but there was one specific one I had in mind when I wrote this question. And it's one of my favorite pieces of writing just ever. It gives me goosebumps whenever I read it. It is in The Shadow Rising when Matt goes into the twisted doorway and he meets with the fox, the snakes. I don't remember. Whatever. He starts asking them questions, and but he doesn't know that Rand is in there. So, you know, these creatures are being pulled by 2 Ta'veren at once, and the strain is overwhelming for them. And they just start yelling out their prophecies to him. And then it says, together they howled, like steam escaping pressure. Go to Rodion, son of battles. Go to Rodion, trickster. Go, gambler, go. Oh, man, I love it. It's like goosebumps every single damn time. Every single word of those few sentences is perfect. It's epic. Like, I like Matt, but I'm not a huge Matt stan or anything. But this moment, it's fantastic. I really, really can't wait to see it on screen. Question 6 is, what is a missed opportunity with the one power? Nablus recently did a video on this, and frustratingly, he took my idea, using a form of like benevolent compulsion as therapy. Like, think of it as 100% effective hypnotism. You know, you want to quit smoking? Get compelled. So thinking of another one was kind of hard, but the one I thought of was using the one power for communication purposes. Like, okay, in the books, it was great when they figured out traveling, but it always kind of frustrated me the limited ways that people used gateways. Although some of this was alleviated in the final books with Andrel. But I always thought that, you know, just because you can't make a big gateway doesn't mean that your tiny gateway is useless. You know, miss your family? Open a tiny gateway and have a face-to-face conversation. Even if the gateway is too tiny for a face, you can still hear people from the other side. And this could be used to spy, and nobody ever thought to do that. So, you know, it is just another missed opportunity. Yeah, my answer. magical FaceTime. The 7th question is, who is your favorite side character? Besides Varen. So yeah, I purposely took Varen off the table because I feel like everyone would pick her because she's incredible. So if I take her off the list, my next favorite is Egianen. She's a character that has a rather amazing arc. She is Shanchan, a true believer when we first meet her. She fully buys into the beliefs about enslaving people, who can channel, and just slavery in general. But then she's left behind and she meets some female channelers and she does the thing that we all hope people will do when they are faced with evidence that disproves their deeply held beliefs. She changes. And it's hard for her because she still loves her country and she has to adjust everything about the way she sees the world. She comes in and out of the story, but every time she weaves back in, we see her growth and change. And this Shanchan woman ends the story literally having served as warder to the Amyrlin seat. It's amazing. She is such a fantastic character. And actually, in my personal post-book headcanon, she has a very central and leading role. The 8th question is, what is a theory that you had while reading that turned out to be completely wrong? There's one trivial one that I had, and it isn't a big deal, but I was so convinced that I was right and that everyone else was wrong, and I mean everyone, because I think I'm the only person who had this theory, and I don't know why I was so sure. I wish I could go back and ask myself, but I have no idea. Anyway, whatever. Min has a viewing about Berlin that she's going to fall head over heels for a man in white. And I don't know how I knew that everybody knew this because I wasn't a part of the online fandom until very, very recently. But I think it might have been like in Leah Butler's recaps on Tor.com, like maybe even in the comments or something. I knew that people were theorizing that this was going to be a white cloak and that even that there were some specific predictions that it was going to be Galath. But I was convinced that it was going to be a random Aiel. One of them who was taken, Guy Shane, hence the white. And it fits the viewing. She does travel with a bunch of Aiel when she's with Perrin. It makes sense, but it's also kind of dumb, and I don't know why I was so convinced, but I was. And I was wrong. The 9th question is, what is your favorite Wheel of Time culture, and why? And okay, so I wrote these questions, so I should have an answer prepared, right? But I feel frustrated by this question because the answer that immediately comes to mind, and even when I was writing the question, the answer that I thought of, it's wrong. But, I mean, obviously it's a personal choice. Nobody's answer is going to be wrong. It's a, opinion. Opinions are opinions. But what I mean is the answer that immediately comes to mind is not necessarily my favorite culture, but it feels like it had the potential to be my favorite culture. And that is the Sea Folk. When they are introduced, they are so interesting, so unique. Like they're sea nomads, that's super cool. We get these glimpses that hint at a more fleshed out version of them than we ever get to see. And I mean, it's understandable. You can't spend an equal amount of time with every culture that you introduce. These books there's already 15 of them. Right? We don't need more. But of all of the cultures that were introduced, none of them intrigued me as much as the Sea Folk did. And all of the little glimpses that we get to hear about and see of these other things always excite me. Like, what is their relationship with the people that live on Tremalking? The people that live in Tremalking are, somehow offshoots of the Tinkers. Somehow they also follow the way of the leaf. It's fascinating. I want to know all of that. And then they fizzle out to nothing. And they even kind of somewhat become annoying in the later books. And I find myself wishing they'd just go away. But I love them when they are first introduced. The introduction of their culture excites me more than any of the others. So I think I'm going to go with them. Even though at the end of the day, I kind of don't think that they did all that much in the books. All right, the final question on the book tag is, who is a character from another book that would make a good Amyrlin seat? And for this one, I think Lauren Oya Olamina from the Parable series by Octavia Butler. I'm just going to mention Octavia Butler as much as possible because she's amazing and you all should read her books. But whatever. Lauren Olamina is a woman with a strong set of beliefs and morals, and she is able to amass followers under the most dire of circumstances. She also has this ability to see far down the road and make long-term plans and goals, plans that will outlive her by eons. And she's able to convince people to believe in her and believe in what she stands for and believe in her vision and her goals, even when all of the evidence around them makes things seem hopeless. She's an amazing leader with a strong vision, and I think that's what it takes to be a good Amyrlin seat. So yeah, that is the Way Back Wheel of Time book tag. And so at the end of a book tag, as you do, I am going to tag other content creators that I would like to see answer these questions. First one I'm going to tag is Riddhima, the creator of the Accepted Test Wheel of Time book tag. I did her questions now. She's going to do mine. And I also would like to tag the Gleemen, Vance and Drew from the Gleemen YouTube channel, and also the Badger Reborn, as well as Recapacitai. And I'm going to link to the questions as well in the description below. So let me know your answers in the comments. And also join my Discord. Much easier to have conversations over there. So I will link to that in the description below. And if you would like to support me making videos like this, best way is through Patreon. I'm really, really grateful to my patrons so far. Honestly, you guys, it means so much to me. I will link to my Patreon in the description below. And as always, like, subscribe, and stick around for the art credits. Bye!